such a pain to be alone and lonely in the rain. And it...
Hello and welcome to Intelligence Not Included, a podcast for you and specifically you. I'm your host Jeremy,
and I'm your host AJ.
And you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about spooky movies because
Me too.
Because like number one, of course, it's Halloween time. I mean, it's October 28th now that we're recording it, and hopefully it might be in relative close like time frame to October when I actually upload this. So Jess and I have been watching a lot of different like scary movies lately. Like we're trying to get like onto the spooky movie train.
Yeah.
And we've watched a lot of good scary movies and bad scary movies. Yeah. And like I feel like spooky movies or scary movies in general kind of suck. And I know it's not what you want to hear, but it's what I have to feel about it.
I mean, especially now because I feel like scary movies or horror films, they kind of just rely on jump scares. They've kind of lost what makes horror, great. Every once in a while, a good movie will come out, but like it's just rare now. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw a legitimately good horror film. Like probably the last good one that I saw was like the It movies.
You know, the It movies were really good. They had like more story to them than like
like the first one I liked. I thought it was great, like, and then we saw Chapter 2, and I mean I liked those movies because they didn't rely on jump scares. Like I appreciate horror movies with actual story and that know how to get under your skin without relying so much on jump scares or just like cheap scares. Like
that's why I really didn't like what were those movies called? I think it was Sinister.
Insidious.
I thought that the Insidious movies were dumb, personally.
Yeah, I mean, the first two I felt were good. The rest, I think there were four movies total. Like the last two, I think were garbage.
Because I watched, if Insidious is the movie that I'm thinking of, it's the one where like it's I'm gonna describe the moment. There was, my neighbors are definitely vacuuming. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up on the microphone, but
let's hope not.
But in the movie, there was a certain point in time where it's cutting between like the main character and somebody else like in a conversation, and then it cuts back to the one person, and it's got like, I don't know, like a demon, I guess, and it's got like red face painting on it.
Yeah, that's Insidious.
Like sitting right behind him, and it like opens his mouth, and it's like,
yeah,
that's Insidious.
See, that movie. Well, I mean, I actually kind of liked the first, like I said, I liked the first two movies, but that movie unfortunately does use a lot of jump scares. It relies on them a little bit too much, but it also has that genuine like creepiness to it as well that I kind of liked.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed those movies.
The Insidious movies. I don't know, I just like, especially when movies like horror movies go 4 movies in a row, it gets to the point, to me anyway, where I'm like, are they just milking the fact that they like hit it on the first one? Because like Paranormal Activity is the same way.
Oh yeah, they are. Like how many of those freaking movies are there? Like 7?
I think there's 4 or no 5. I'm not entirely sure.
Whatever the number is, it's too many.
Whatever the number is, it's too many.
Yeah.
You know what movie I did see recently that I was actually very impressed with? It was really, really good. Was Hereditary. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hereditary. Did you watch that?
Yeah, that movie is like really, really, really creepy, and it was just so. First of all, the acting was amazing too in that movie. Well, like I like how it all pays off at the end. Like,
it's
I don't know if I should spoil it here, but
go for it. I mean, the movie's what, 2 years old at this point?
Yeah.
Spoil the shit out of that thing.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, just skip ahead.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, just skip the entire podcast at this point.
Yeah, but it like I like how he ends up becoming like basically the son of or the son of the devil, I guess.
It's
like,
something like that, but he ends up being possessed by him.
Yeah, I guess he becomes like a vessel for the devil or something, like, and a bunch of Satan worshippers like make him their leader or something, like the son. Whatever.
If you noticed, he was actually at the end, he wasn't possessed by the devil. I think that he was being possessed by the little sister. because
Oh,
they
yeah,
mention at the
because-
very end they say her name, whatever the hell her name was.
I
I
forgot.
can't remember
like,
what it was.
But I think what happened was she was supposed to be born a boy.
That's why she said in the beginning of the
Yeah.
movie, my grandma wanted me to be a boy.
Yeah, and so they were banking on that, and instead, so they had the little girl's spirit inhabit the sun, I guess,
I don't think that it was
or like
supposed to be the little girl that inhabited his body. I really don't get that part.
but yeah, it's just like such a twisted tone, in that movie.
There were
Especially when the little girl gets basically decapitated.
I
in the
did not
car.
expect that to happen so early in the movie, because like when I saw all of the promotional stuff for it, when the daughter was in the movie like acting real creepy, I was like, okay, she's gonna play like a big part in this whole thing. Like she's gonna be like the first one that's gonna be like any little kid usually is, and or like any kid that isn't like the party on teenager type of person is gonna like start interacting with it. Like if you remember the first Paranormal Activity. No, the second one where the little girl was like, "Oh yeah, whatever the hell its name was, is in my closet. We're friends." And you're like, "What the fuck? They're playing with a demon in the the closet now."
And that formula worked for a little while, but then
The Paranormal Activity stuff.
it just it just couldn't work for as many movies as they made.
My feeling with like Paranormal Activity, I thought the first one was horrific. Like the first one like made me uncomfortable in my own house, like to the point that like when I was walking through like a room and I was shutting off lights at the end of the day, like I ran to my bedroom. Like I was
Really?
not having it. No.
Yeah, I mean the first movie was actually really, really good. I liked it. For what it was. It was
cool.
really scary. And did you know I can't remember the exact details, but apparently the team that made that movie, it was super low budget. I think it was made by like a bunch of college students or something
Really?
like that as like a project. But I think it won like a bunch of awards at like film festivals,
It
and
was
so they
a
made
scary
it.
movie.
And then it ended up doing so well that it had a theatrical release or something like that. I have to do more research on
Yeah.
that. But yeah, like it ended up becoming like this huge success, because they did such a great job with it.
It was a good movie. I don't know if it was a series that was warranting 5 movies and an overarching
Yeah,
story.
that's where they tried to capitalize on it a little too much, and they
Mhm.
ended up screwing up the entire series.
Because I was thinking about, because I was at Best Buy the other day, right? And they had a bundle of all 5 of the Paranormal Activity movies.
Yeah.
Do you want to know how much all 5 Paranormal Activity movies were on Blu-ray?
What?
Just toss me a guess.
$20?
That's about right. Yeah, $15 is how much it was.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, man, 5 of these things on Blu-ray, and it's only $15. I was like, that really shows like how well sold this is. And also they have Friday the 13th for every single Friday the 13th movie, like all the Jason movies.
Yeah.
Every single one of them on box set
Really?
on Blu-ray.
You know, I haven't
$22.
seen all those movies, and
I've never seen one of them.
Really.
Nope, I've never been a horror movie person. Like
I mean,
literally
there's
the
like
last
10
week
of
we've
those
been watching
movies
them.
now. I mean,
What do
if
you mean now? I
include
think the last one
remake.
they made was Freddy vs. Jason. That was the last version of the Friday the 13th movies I think they made. And that was back in like 2008.
Well, I mean, they made the remake. I mean,
Well, yeah, because they made a remake of it. Because I remember that's when they came to Horror Nights.
yeah, Freddy vs. Jason was actually a really good movie too. I liked it.
It's kind of an interesting idea to have like 2 slasher
Yeah, and I feel like that was like the last great like versus movie. There's not enough versus movies.
Alien versus
You know,
Predator, Freddy
yeah,
versus
like,
Jason,
You have like those movies too, or like
Kanye versus
like,
Kim.
as far as giant monsters, or like horror movies like monsters like icons battling each other.
Sure.
You like Godzilla movies. I'm just throwing that out there, but
Yeah, like Godzilla versus Mothra,
yeah,
Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla.
but all that crap. Like, I mean, even though I know those movies are cheesy, like I used to love them growing up.
It's just like almost like they were just in agreement with another company where they're like, you've got a cool thing and we've got a cool thing.
Yeah,
Blend them
we're just gonna
together.
get a bunch of guys and like put them in rubber suits, and we're gonna have them fight on
I
screen.
feel like Alien and Predator were 2 things that were almost like made for one another though. Like I can't think of Alien without thinking of Predator and vice versa, because they
Yeah.
feel like they already existed in the same universe somehow because of the way that their character designs were.
Yeah, like I get what you mean. Like it almost feels like they were made to fit together, like like 2 pieces to a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I actually finally watched the first Alien movie.
Okay.
Not too long ago.
You hadn't seen the first Alien movie?
No, I hadn't really seen any of them. Like I saw like the first one, and I heard that the second one is even better
Mm-hmm.
because it was directed by James Cameron. So of course,
It was?
I
Instead
believe
of Ridley
so.
Scott?
Ridley Scott, I think, directed the first.
He did the first one. I know that much because he also came back for Prometheus. I didn't know that he didn't do the rest of them.
I think James Cameron. I'm pretty sure James Cameron directed the second one.
It sounds right for some reason, but my body still can't believe it.
Yeah, like I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe he produced it. Or I know he was involved in some way.
Sure.
And it was a huge success. I still haven't watched that one yet, and I plan to very soon, because
you got 3 days left of
October.
Halloween.
Yeah,
and you got to watch these spooky movies soon because the rest of the year is all
I know
Mariah Carey's
this month
Mariah Carey is
got
currently
away
thawing
from me.
out, and she's getting ready to start singing whatever the hell that song is that she sings every single year. Which one is it? The Mariah Carey song that everybody associates with Christmas.
What? Jingle Bells?
No, the one that's like that song. I can't think of what the hell it is. You know what I'm talking about.
Like,
it's the same song. All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's the one that plays at like the beginning of any like real like. I'm gonna say any Hallmark Christmas movie should probably begin with that song. Every single one of them.
Like I love Christmas. Don't get me wrong, but it's such a giant hog, like of a holiday.
What?
It's just that think about it. Like you go into stores and you see like Christmas decorations being like available in stores as like even before Halloween. It's like at least wait until Halloween ends.
There's I can't remember where it was. Where were we the other day? We were at Target, and they're already setting up all the Christmas decorations. We were at Lowe's, literally I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like right in the beginning of October, like beginning to like first 2 weeks of October.
Yeah, and
they already had all the Christmas trees set up,
which is ridiculous. It's like have some respect for the other holidays.
Have some respect for Halloween.
It's like Halloween is my favorite holiday of all time, and I feel like it completely gets overshadowed by the other holidays.
I would say that Halloween doesn't get overshadowed. It gets shortened tremendously once it's over, because everybody is looking forward to the end of the year for Christmas, obviously.
Yeah.
And then everybody builds up Halloween. Halloween is like the appetizer to Christmas, which is the main course. And then like New Year's is your drunken, dessert.
Yeah, it's just that Christmas, like I said, it's a hog. Like it doesn't wait its turn. Like it literally, I'm telling you, it just like completely takes over the holiday season. Like
so
that's all anyone ever cares about.
Is what you're saying.
What happened?
You just want Christmas to chill out.
Yeah, like because like I said, I love Christmas, but I just want it to like it's like. Let me have Halloween in October. You wait until December. When everybody, wants to celebrate Christmas then, Because even after Christmas ends, you can still walk around and people will have their Christmas decorations on their houses, for like up until February, or you can still walk into a store and hear Christmas music playing.
I think everybody expects to hear Christmas music playing until like mid to late January and like see Christmas stuff because you're just like, it's gonna go for a while. We all know that our Christmas is gonna be.
I was
here.
watching this video the other day, by this guy that I like watching on YouTube. His name is James Rolfe. He calls himself the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, and I love his videos. And he said a perfect quote about Christmas. He said that it just seems to start whenever it wants and end whenever it wants.
Yeah, it's about right. It just it's up to because Christmas is such a materialistic and like. It's such a materialistic holiday that also is I'm trying to think, like companies are what really push Christmas, and I think that's what's part of it is that like because companies are more so in control of it because Christmas is all about marketing. Christmas is all about getting you out there and buying shit. Exactly. That's what Christmas is. Like Halloween, you buy your costume and stuff, but for the most part Halloween is all about like it's about things you can do. It's about haunted houses. It's about decorating your house with haunted stuff. It's about the best costume that most usually people want to build rather than purchase. Because purchase costumes are never as interesting or as well made as a good, like, homemade project costume. I mean, just look at cosplay. Cosplay is a great example of how ridiculous your costume can be. And those people pour their heart and souls into it. I looked at a video the other day of a guy that had created an entire Doom guy costume over the course of quarantine, and the thing looks incredible. And I think it's because Halloween is such a do-it-yourself and very low budget, so to speak, holiday where I mean, you could spend $50 on Halloween and you've done it. You know, you're gonna hand out
Exactly,
candy.
and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
It unlike Christmas, where you have to spend, what is the average person spends on Christmas gifts, like $500.
Probably about right.
Depending on how many people you plan to buy for.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to break the bank to enjoy Christmas. Whereas with Halloween, you can have a ton of fun, and you don't have to spend a ton of money. I love going out to hang out with people, to buy costumes or make your own,
Sure.
And even going out with the family, to see kids trick-or-treating or people getting scared in haunted houses. It's
Yeah.
I find that, and I just love the atmosphere of it too, seeing all the creepy decorations, watching scary movies, and doing all these things. Like I just find it to be so exciting, and I look forward to it every year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that's one of the things that I feel sucks probably the most about the current situation with the pandemic.
Is that none of this stuff is really going to happen this year?
Exactly.
I mean,
because
look at the raped version of Halloween Horror Nights we visited today. I mean, it's not Halloween yet.
Yeah, it's been gutted.
It's 3 days from Halloween. Like, Halloween is what, 2 days away now? 3 days away. It's going to be on
3
Saturday
days.
anyway, and today's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's only a couple of days away, and we went to do both of the haunted houses. They were okay. I mean, they weren't
They were
bad.
good.
But I felt like it was too bright in the houses. It's at a lot of times, and on top of that, because of every single scare actor that was in the house when they went to go pop out to scare you, they had a plexiglass sheet between you and them,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Or not even plexiglass. It's probably just a plastic sheet, which has got to suck for them, because the ones that are in like a tight space, like how hot that's got to get. I can't even imagine.
It's gotta suck, and it limits the amount of
Immersion.
Yeah, exactly. It limits what you're able to do, because you can't. There's only but so much you can do when you can't, come out from behind a plastic, wall. You can't get up in people's faces. How are you supposed to scare them?
Because in all honesty, all that it felt like to me by the end of the second house was that I was walking down a spooky hallway. That's all it was. I mean, everybody was behind a window. Every single person. However, there was that one chick that was on the rail that like flew like from 7 or 8, probably like more like 12. Like 12 feet away, like flew at you on a rail and then hit the window.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
I mean, for within the constraints of what they were able to do, they actually did a good job,
Alexa, stop. Say that again?
Within like the limits of what they were able to accomplish, they actually did a really good job, all things considered.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed the houses. It's just, there's only but so much you can do,
It still felt like Halloween, which was nice. It still felt like Halloween Horror Nights in the house. Two things that sucked. Number one was doing it in the middle of the day and not being able to heavily drink beforehand, because drinking at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning is not
this
great.
boy is terrified of haunted houses.
I just don't, like, I need that liquid courage to get into the house. And I literally woke up today and, like, 12 o'clock, like noon, started chugging a bottle of rum just to be able to get just a little buzz, so when we got there I was doing okay. Because, like, I get too nervous when I'm going to the house, because then I start to talk myself out of it. And I want to go in the house. I want to go and experience them, because I love the haunted houses. I really do. But I need to get over that initial hump of, like, the first house of the year, and then I'm like, oh, this ain't that bad.
Yeah,
then I can walk in. Like, that first house, I started to have anxiety as I started walking in. I'm like, oh, shit, what am I doing to myself?
But it's like once you get through it, then
you're like,
it's
it's
really
over.
nothing bad, especially this year.
Yeah, well, this year was a very, very tame version of it. I mean, it was still fun, but, like, one of the weird things that, like, being there today as well that I was very surprised by is that all of the Horror Night stuff, like, number one, for the most part, the Horror Night stuff is not available. Like, for T-shirt sizes, as well as, like, the one T-shirt you wanted to buy for Taryn wasn't even available at all. Not in any size. And then everything else that was available was mainly for, like, extra small, sometimes medium.
Yeah, and it's because I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen, because they were doing, like, they have heavily slashed, like, the prices.
And that's the other thing,
all
too. Like,
merchandise.
they're doing, like, 50 to 70% off all merchandise for, like, everything.
Exactly.
I bought a shot glass today that was, I think it was supposed to be, like, $8 or $9 for $2.
Yeah.
$2. Are you kidding
It was
me?
crazy. So I didn't expect to find it, honestly. I knew it was going to be sold out pretty much everywhere because they marked it down so much because they're just trying to get rid of the inventory so they make something off
And
of this event.
I really didn't think that the Horror Nights stuff this year was very interesting, like any of the merchandise they had up for it, because a lot of the merchandise was just, it wasn't even like 2020 calling back to other years. It was literally just other years poster slapped onto a t-shirt.
Yeah, like they basically tried to. They tried to.
They tried to
like,
resell the same
sell
merchandise.
based on previous previous years and Fright Nights.
I'm pretty
and
certain it's the same
all
merch that was available that year that Horror Nights had come around. It just doesn't have the houses on the back, or unless they weren't doing the houses on the back yet anyway.
Exactly.
It just seemed like it was literally like the t-shirt from that year. They just re-released it. It would have been different to me if like they actually had the one that stands out, I can't talk. The one that stands out the most to me is the t-shirt that had the mummy on the front, which is probably the most tame and boring of the t-shirts to me.
Which is probably why we saw it in every store.
Exactly.
Nobody wanted to buy it.
And it's the tamest looking shirt, and I think it was the oldest design that they had. But it would have been one thing if like you had bought that, but still on like the sleeve on the side where usually it says, like Horror Nights on a lot of the t-shirts.
Yeah.
If it said Halloween Horror Nights 2020 or 30 years of Frights or whatever the hell it is they wanted to do. But there's nothing to differentiate that from an original shirt other than the fact that it's new.
Exactly. I mean, I guess it's cool in a way if like you're a huge fan like I am and you just want to collect memorabilia and just.
I guess. I agree with that.
Yeah, and you want to collect merchandise that, pays homage or like reminds you of like all the previous years, dating back to like Fright Nights when it first started.
So I think there was the oldest one there was 1992.
Which I did want to buy that shirt. I probably should have, because that was the year I was born, so I just kind of wanted to have that shirt.
You should have, you old bitch.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. Fuck. I should have bought it, but I don't know why I didn't, especially with, how many discounts there are. Maybe I'll go back one more time because it's going on to the 1st. Maybe I'll go back one more time just to see what merch is still available.
Yeah, because I want to go back to the tribute store again just to check it out. There was zero Beetlejuice merchandise inside of the Beetlejuice store, by the way. I don't know if when you first went, like the first time that you saw the Beetlejuice store, if there was stuff in there, but there was
I think
nothing
there was
except for that
slightly
mug.
more merchandise, but I don't think there was a lot of difference. There really wasn't a whole lot. I mean, I bought like a coffee mug because I always do every year. It's my thing.
That
collect
Beetlejuice
coffee
one is really
mugs.
cool too. I'm glad you got that one.
Yeah, I liked that one, even though it's kind of weird the way the handle is
I was about to
shaped.
say, the way the handle is shaped and to hold it seems super uncomfortable.
Yeah,
though.
it's based off the worm from the Beetlejuice movie,
Yeah.
the sandworm or whatever.
Is it the
but
sandworm, or is it supposed to be him when he's like a snake in the stairs?
I think it's the sandworm, the worm from
It's
the
super
dream
weird looking
world or
regardless.
whatever. But I don't understand why they didn't just make it circular, or rounded, like for the handle.
Yeah.
Because the way it's a weird design,
flat.
like it's flat. So when you grab it, you kind of gotta hold it with your thumb kind of overlapping
And it digs into your
the
hand, does it
edged
not?
part at the top, in order to kind of keep it in place. So it's just a weird design. It's a cool design, just strange. And that's what I hate the most about probably the holiday season for with this pandemic going on, because think about it. I mean, for the most part, Christmas and even Thanksgiving are not going to be changed much. They're not going to be affected too much.
I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, Christmas maybe not so much, because I mean we've still got Amazon. You can still order wrapping paper and stuff like that. It's just the people that actually do large get-togethers will be inconvenienced.
It's like, I mean, what really
Thanksgiving I
affected?
think will take the biggest hit next to Halloween.
Do you think Thanksgiving?
I mean, because everybody gets together for Thanksgiving. It's the whole idea is to get together with their family and see people you haven't seen
Well, I
before,
mean, I guess I
see in a
didn't think
while,
about that,
and give thanks that they're still alive if they made their way through the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't think about that. But we plan to get together this year. I don't think we'll have much family coming in. I think Taryn's family might be joining us. I'm
Sure.
still a little unsure about that.
That'd be nice.
But
though.
yeah, like you go out to the store, you're gonna grab your ingredients, your food, and everything, so that you can cook and gather around. And that's pretty much the only difference that's gonna happen is maybe family traveling out to join you.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know. We're just
I don't think it's gonna be a huge change, especially when when you think
You
about
okay
how
over there?
I'm trying to,
Trying to gather your thoughts.
gather my thoughts.
You're
Yeah.
just so upset about Halloween being in 3 days.
That's what it is. I'm just like livid about it.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how they're able to figure out how to do Halloween this year because I know that like my apartment complex is doing like a trick or trunk club or trunk or treat. I think it's trunk or treat.
What?
I don't know what that entails. I read through the email and they were just like, we're gonna have decorated trunks, and I'm like, I don't. In what regard? Like, are you just gonna have people bring out trunk? Do I have to have my own trunk to participate? I don't know. Regardless, but it's just like everything's kind of weird this year for it, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays through.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you real quick the movies that we had seen, because I want to get back to the Halloween movie stuff, or the horror movie stuff. The movies that we watched, and they might not have been the best movies to go with, but we watched House of a Thousand Corpses. That was fun, but it was just a slasher. But it had fun characters, which I think without those characters, that movie would have blown. And fun music, of course,
Did you watch
because
all 3 of those movies?
we only watched the first one. I've seen The Devil's Rejects before, but I would need to rewatch it.
I heard that's a really good movie.
It is. It's pretty good. If I remember
And then
correctly, it's been like I watched it when it came out, so it's been quite a while.
And then
There's
like,
The Three from Hell,
The
which is the
Three
third
from
one.
Hell is
And The
what it's
Three
called.
from Hell, I've heard.
I was gonna say
I've heard
the
nothing
terrible,
about.
like the Terrible 3 or some shit.
It's something like that. Yeah, it's The Three from Hell. I know it's available on I think it's Hulu now or something like that, or Prime Video.
I've been meaning to watch those movies too. Like,
Have you never seen House of a Thousand Corpses?
No, I haven't seen any of the movies, but I've heard that they're great.
House of a Thousand Corpses is pretty cool. It's actually really, really neat.
I've heard that Rob Zombie, like, is actually a pretty good director.
Good director or not, that movie was something. It was. I'll tell you what, the visuals in that movie are very different. I'll at least give you that. It's very
Really?
strange.
Yeah, I listened to his music, and that's about it. I haven't
yeah.
seen his movies.
But House of a Thousand Corpses was real cool. We watched the first Hostel, which just seemed like it was just an ode to
That movie
mutilation.
was so stupid.
We watched, and that's another one they made like 3 or 4 of was Hostel.
3.
We watched. Oh, what the hell was the other one? Green Inferno, which apparently that movie was banned for a while from a lot of different places. You should watch that because if you want to watch,
Cannibalistic Tribe.
yeah,
or
it's about a
something like that.
cannibalistic tribe, and that movie is messed up. Like just the visuals for that movie are screwed up. There's that, and I'm trying to think of the last movie that we
I
watched.
think the second Hostel is better than the first. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
We're probably gonna watch the second one here soon because we're gonna keep on going through the spooky movie trend. There's something. Oh, we watched Cabin in the Woods. That was an interesting movie.
Cabin in the Woods. What is that about the virus or the?
If you
Oh no, that's Cabin Fever. Cabin in the Woods. That's the one with Chris Hemsworth, right?
yeah.
Like how like they have to get killed in a certain order. And
If you
that's-
haven't seen
that
Cabin in the
movie-
Woods, please go out and watch Cabin in the Woods.
That
Do not
is-
listen to the next bit of the podcast because it is a weird movie. But
that is, yeah, I'm not gonna
definitely watch
spoil it. I'm not gonna.
no, I'm gonna
toss
spoil it
any
right now.
details.
They're all part of an experiment. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, but that movie, I went in, like thinking it was gonna be one thing, and it threw a complete.
Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a
curveball.
slasher type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, which it was kinda,
Kinda.
but
They were all being killed off by zombie
I
things,
mean,
and
it
they
was
played
a
like
good
0 part.
movie. But it's just like, you go in thinking like, oh, it's gonna be about one thing, you know, but
It took a right
the name
turn,
sounded
bud.
pretty self-explanatory. It isn't.
No, it really isn't. That scene where he flies his motorcycle directly into a damn wall was probably the best thing that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, like.
And the
it's
fact that
so
the stoner's the
interesting
one who
the
made it
direction
through.
Takes, you know,
Love
the
it.
plot.
Huh?
The plot is just so.
It's so
strange.
weird. And that's why I loved it. It was so out of complete right field. We're gonna start wrapping this up because we're gonna try and keep these as little bite-sized podcasts and try and be able to work our way.
Kind of keep them sort of somewhat
Yeah,
organized.
we
you know?
want you to stick around to the entire podcast and then I don't know, maybe listen to a song or two on Spotify and then come to the next one. But I wanna know like what are good horror movies to be able to watch. And for a good like barometer of what I like, I loved Hereditary. The Shining is of course my favorite movie of all time. Next to like,
Which I don't understand.
it's not my absolute favorite. My absolute favorite movie is hard to really pin down, but it's my favorite horror movie of all time. I love it.
Blues Brothers was one of your.
It's one of my favorite movies, like that, Casablanca, just because it's a classic, and I've always enjoyed watching it. There's a couple, but regardless, The one scene from Hereditary that screwed me up the most, and I don't know why. Jess doesn't agree with me, but there's the scene where once the teenager falls out of the window, right after he jumps out the window from the attic, and well, number one, there's her on the ceiling banging her head into the bottom of the door. That was pretty messed up. But when he looks over at the treehouse and the body just floats its way up into the treehouse silently, that screwed me up right there. I was just like that. I was done. I was like, that is
everything that happens in the movie. That's what screws you up.
It's just that it was so unnatural and unnerving that it got me.
Everything in that movie's unnatural, but that one scene, I mean,
that one visual got me.
That's interesting. I didn't think that was what you were gonna choose.
Well, what can I say? That being said, though, my name is Jeremy.
I'm sorry. Before you ended, I was just gonna say, like, for me, it was when the little girl got decapitated.
That was Jessica and I literally held our hands over our mouths because we were so taken aback by that.
Yeah, that fucked me up, and like that was so screwed up.
It was so unexpected.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because, like, I mean, you see people getting decapitated in movies all the time, but there's something about the way it happened here and the events leading up to it that just made it so terrible.
So,
you know?
Papa actually gave me a true story that's very similar to that. That we'll talk about on another podcast here soon.
Oh, okay.
But we're gonna go ahead and end this one, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed hearing us ramble on about movies and our distrust for the holiday season. And you know, they should have their ample amount of time to one another.
Christmas is engulfing everything that I love.
Of course, you know, if anybody should feel upset, it's Thanksgiving, because everybody looks at Halloween and they go, here comes Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
People don't give a shit about Thanksgiving
anymore.
They're like, we're gonna pig out one day between now and Thanksgiving, and that's about it. Thanksgiving is just like, it's just the first little thought going into Christmas, because Halloween is the appetizer, Christmas is the main course, New Year's Eve into New Year's Day is 100% the dessert and, you know, the champagne kicker of a meal. Thanksgiving is like the side of mashed potatoes. That's all the Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is nothing when it comes to the holiday season. But anyhow, leaving you guys with that. Thanks for listening to Intelligence Not Included. My name was Jeremy.
My name is AJ.
And we hope you've enjoyed yourselves. And as a friendly reminder, please, if you're going outdoors, wear shoes. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Just wear shoes. That's all we ask.
Think about it. Okay.
But happy Halloween, guys. We hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah, happy Halloween,
And
everybody. I love you. Okay?
We'll hopefully talk to you guys very soon.
We'll talk to you soon.